More than 5,000 planes are in the air when every air traffic controller's radio across America goes silent. At the same moment, the screens in control rooms can no longer be trusted to show where those planes are. The planes stay in the air and keep following their routes. Pilots hear other crews on the radio, message their airlines, and keep calling for a controller. No controller answers. That becomes dangerous as soon as one flight needs to turn around a storm, another needs to descend, and several crews head for the same runway. Normally, controllers see those paths coming together and keep the planes apart. Now they cannot. Controllers guiding planes into Newark lost both their normal radar display and radio link for about 90 seconds in 2025. Existing spacing kept the aircraft separated until the connection returned. Now that same failure lasts across the country for a full day. Flight 482 is approaching Chicago through a line of thunderstorms when its last instruction cuts off halfway through. The pilots call back, switch frequencies, and try the emergency channel. Other aircraft answer. Nobody on the ground does. A message from the airline confirms that the failure is nationwide. Flight 482 holds its last route and altitude. That is what the pilots were trained to do after losing contact. The problem is that every other crew is doing the same thing, and no controller can move them out of one another's way. Most airline departures stop because crews cannot receive clearances. The aircraft already in the sky still needs somewhere to land. Flight 482 has already burned extra fuel, avoiding the worst of the storms, and the rain over Chicago is now too heavy to land in. Dispatch finds a regional airport beyond the storm, with better weather, and a runway Flight 482 can use. Then another crew names the same airport over the radio. A second follows, then a third. They are all looking at the same storm and the same shrinking list of runways they can still reach. At the regional airport, the tower is silent. Pilots announce their positions on a shared radio channel and build a landing order themselves. A cargo jet is first. A smaller commuter jet carrying passengers is second. Flight 482 is next, followed by 2 more aircraft. Flight 482 reports minimum fuel, warning the other pilots that it cannot accept another long delay. The radio channel grows busier as airliners arrive from different directions through rain and low cloud. Ground staff tell the airlines that the parking area is nearly full and the taxiways are backing up. The cargo jet lands and its crew says they are turning off at the first exit. The taxiway ahead is already filled with aircraft waiting for gates. The cargo jet turns, rolls part way off the runway and stops. Its nose is clear, its tail is not. The cargo crew calls, "Unable to clear, runway occupied, go around." At that exact moment, a business jet farther out begins reporting its position. Anyone listening hears the 2 voices as a burst of noise. The commuter crew on final heard the cargo jet say it was turning off. They are already close to the runway, and through the rain they cannot see that it stopped. They continue. The cargo crew tries the warning again. Before the words are out, the commuter jet crosses the runway threshold and touches down. The cargo jet's tail appears through the spray. The commuter crew applies maximum wheel braking and reverse thrust, but there is too little distance left. Their aircraft strikes the cargo jet at high speed. The collision is fatal, and the wreckage blocks the airport's only long runway. The impact spins both aircraft sideways and fire spreads across the pavement. Emergency slides open on the commuter jet. Survivors run into the wet grass while the shared radio channel fills with calls for every aircraft still approaching to climb away. Ground staff close the runway and alert the airlines. Flights still far away turn elsewhere. Flight 482 is already next in line, too close to land anywhere else without first climbing away. Flight 482's pilots see the fire and climb away. The 2 aircraft behind follow within seconds. All 3 use the same escape route shown on their cockpit charts. The route keeps them away from high ground, but now it sends 3 jets climbing into the same patch of sky. A little over 1,000 feet up, the jets' onboard warning systems detect the conflict. These systems communicate directly between aircraft and do not need the control room. Flight 482 is told to climb, while the aircraft immediately behind it is told to level off. The crews follow the warnings and miss each other inside the cloud. For several seconds, neither crew can see the other aircraft. Flight 482's cockpit display shows it pass below, then disappear behind them. The go-around and extra climb have used fuel. Flight 482 could not spare. Passengers who expected to land feel the engines surge and the cabin tilt upward while the pilots recalculate. The first officer looks at the fuel. 31 minutes. Dispatch has found one runway within reach, 21 minutes away. That leaves roughly 10 minutes on arrival, enough for one approach, but not another search for an airport. Flight 482 declares a fuel emergency. Nearby crews hear it and begin making room, but the message only travels as far as their radios. No one can tell the pilots whether an unheard aircraft is crossing their route or whether the runway ahead is still clear. The only runway close enough belongs to an old military field. It is long enough, and its landing system can guide Flight 482 through the cloud, but the tower is empty at this hour. Dispatch calls local emergency services. The jet will get there first. The latest report from the airport says the pavement is wet. Rain has become heavier since that report, and ground staff have not had time to measure how much water is collecting on the runway. The first officer keys the microphone 7 times within 5 seconds. That switches the runway lights on from the cockpit. They are glowing below the cloud, still invisible to the pilots. Flight 482 begins its only approach. At 1,000 feet, the windshield is gray. 700 brings only rain. By 500, both pilots are searching outside while the altitude callouts continue. The runway lights finally appear close to the lowest height they can safely reach. A gust pushes the jet away from the center line. Correcting takes precious seconds and leaves the aircraft high and fast. Normally, the crew would go around. The next suitable runway is beyond their remaining fuel, so another climb would leave them with nowhere to land. The captain continues. The aircraft crosses the runway threshold faster than planned and touches down beyond the normal landing area. Its wheels meet standing water. The pilots use full reverse thrust and braking, but the tires begin sliding instead of gripping the pavement. Flight 482 runs off the end. The front landing gear digs into saturated ground and collapses, bringing the aircraft to a stop in the mud. The crew orders an evacuation. Passengers leave through the slides and heavy rain. The emergency vehicles have not arrived yet. Flight attendants check the cabin row by row, and the pilots leave last. Everyone gets out, although several people are injured. Local responders reach the damaged aircraft minutes later. The old military runway is now closed too. Dispatchers planning to send other low-fuel flights there must find new destinations before those crews arrive. Across the country, aircraft with clear weather and enough fuel land safely. Flights still outside United States airspace turn back or divert elsewhere. Within several hours, most of the aircraft are down, and the danger in the sky begins to fall. By then, the airports are a mess. Diversion airports are packed with aircraft that were never meant to be there. Some passengers cannot get off because every gate is full, and some pilots reach their legal work limit before they can fly again. Repairing the radios does not put those crews and planes back where the next day's schedule needs them. Controllers also have to test their equipment before departures can resume. So, can planes land without air traffic control? Most of them probably can. A crew can solve the problems inside its own cockpit. It cannot see every other flight changing course, choosing a runway or running low on fuel at the same time. After 24 hours, the sky is nearly empty. One runway is blocked by a fatal collision. Flight 482 is nose down in the mud at another. Thousands of flights cannot begin, and normal schedules will take days to rebuild.